you ready for Couch Time with Sonja?
Welcome to another episode of Couch Time with Sonja. Are you ready?
It is season 3, and I can't even believe that we're at season 3.
3 seasons. Crazy. How did that happen?
In 1 year.
Yeah. Did you catch that? 3 seasons in 1 year. Have you watched them all? If you haven't, go to our website, couchtimewithsonja.com. Be sure to catch up.
But this episode, I'm so excited because it is a personal friend of mine. And so I'm very excited to have the opportunity to have her on. So what I want you to do is make sure that you go grab a cup of coffee, grab your tea, and we'll be right back.
For Couch Time with Sonja.
One of the most important events in life is having a baby. The closest hospital may not be the best choice for your family. Now, there's Stork Advisor. With Stork Advisor, you can keep your loved ones informed. There's a labor alert right at your fingertips. Stork Advisor even offers you a pregnancy tip every day. After you've had your baby, tell us about your experience and leave a Stork rating. We want to keep other expecting families like you informed. With Stork Advisor, you can know what to expect when you're expecting.
If you would like to be a guest or advertise your business on Couch Time with Sonja, I would love to hear from you. Email me. Visit couchtimewithsonja.com. And then there was life. Born to color outside the lines. Born for such a time as this. You showed up on the planet to produce a dream. You, yes you, were born with purpose, with words. Friends, imagine that your dreams can become your reality by the words you speak. It all starts today. It starts with you. Creation, formation, transformation, all begin with change. The battle is in your mind, but your voice is your weapon. Speak life, believe, prosperity, creative, daring. The best way to predict your future is to create it. Your future is unwritten. Let's begin writing today. Your words create your world.
You ready for Couch Time with Sonja?
Welcome back. Did you grab your coffee or your tea? Because we're going to get into this topic today, and it's going to be good. The topic today is, do your words really matter?
And I'm excited, Dee, because of course, this is a personal friend of mine. And I'll definitely tell you, having a mentor in your life is always important. But I can definitely tell you the next guest has been a mentor in my life. And man, when she talks about words and they really do matter, it's really true. So let's introduce to you our next guest, Kerri Roberson. Hi. Hey, beautiful, you look gorgeous.
Thank you. Welcome. Sorry, I give you a hug. Far away hug. How's that?
Yes, that'll work.
Welcome to the couch.
Beautiful couch.
Yeah, the story behind this couch, right? Wow. Well, we're so excited that you're here with us today. Talking about words, man. First off, I want to tell you thank you. Because of course she knows, and now I've told everyone, that being a mentor in my life, you've been a very vital part of my life, and I thank you for it. But I'm so excited for everyone else to know the importance of your story, because your story matters. So let's start from the beginning, because I think the world needs to know who Kerri Roberson is.
Wow, there's a lot wrapped up in that, right? I mean, there's no doubt that I'm a wife and I'm a mother and a businesswoman, but I think back to, the whole story and kind of just where the grounding come from, and the whole where your words really do matter. Because at a very young age, I took on a nickname that had a very innocent label, but it created an old soul that grew up really fast in a lot of ways. And so I think back on some defining moments in my life that really were those things that you can look back and go, it could have been tragic, but I decided that it could also be victorious. And so I actually had somebody say, does anything bad ever happen in your world?
Wow.
You're like the overflowing optimist. And the truth is that everything happens. Nobody gets a hall pass, right?
That's exactly right.
Life happens to us all, but I think it's how you choose to respond, how you choose to react to that. So I can think back to when I was in first grade, my brother was killed in a plane crash. And then I lost my father at the age of 12 to a sudden heart attack. And I remember, I'll share one of the most incredible moments of my life was the morning of his funeral. And sitting on the bed, my mom had several dresses laid out. And my brother said, aren't you supposed to wear black? And she said, you know, that's a choice we'll make right here together. Are we going to celebrate your father's life because he's won his race? Or are we going to mourn his death? And so I wore a purple dress, right? And here's the reality of that moment was everything it taught me was I could react in one of two ways. Was it heartbreaking? Absolutely, right? And she knew that, married 27 years and now left her own at the age of 45. Like, gonna start a new life, but she had that hope and that faith. And so it's really one of those things that's fueled me throughout all of my life, really. That things happen.
That was, one would seem a small decision to make. But it wasn't, because it really was something that you've remembered, that is really stuck in your mind.
Right.
And one would think it was a simple choice. You chose the color of a dress. But it was so much deeper than that.
It was. Yeah, and of course there's always mourning, so I don't want anybody to take that out of context, right?
Yes.
You're going to have mourning, but we also have the hope that joy comes in the morning.
Yes.
And so
Exactly right.
it's not a permanent thing that we can rest in.
You're exactly right. Well, of course, I know that there's so much to your stories, and we're going to kind of take it in pieces.
Okay.
With you writing your book, your words create your world. Of course, all of that is really your whole life encompassed in that book in such a special way. But first off, I guess my first question would be, when did you really realize that your words really do matter?
I think maybe I always knew it, but it wasn't a real revelation till probably about 18, 20, somewhere between 18 and 20 years ago. That all of a sudden it had just this drastic effect that, okay, like I am saying these things, and if the world was created by words, then what does my world look like? Am I speaking life into it, or is it a constant pattern of woe is me?
Right.
Because I had the woe is me along the way.
That's good.
Yeah.
Because somebody needs to hear that and say that. It's not, you have not
Yeah.
always been this positive or affirmation speaking person.
Right.
It evolved over time. Is that right?
Right. It did. I was married at a young age, a young mother, and then divorced at a young age. And so knowing that those labels that people put on you, and even walking through that, though, I think back to my choice in that decision, because I couldn't control another human being, but what I could control was myself, and finding forgiveness in that. And so, I love the fact that my son turned 26 this weekend, and, I've not fought for 26 years with my ex-husband. I chose forgiveness and to move forward and to be positive in that situation. And so that's a big life lesson that I think also moved me forward in having a beautiful relationship that I was able to have whenever I met Rick, and just move forward without all of that stuff coming with me into that relationship.
That's awesome in itself. With that, leave the past where it is, learn from it,
Right.
but leave it where it is. That
And
was
love it.
beautiful.
The impact wasn't just on you, it was on your son.
Oh,
The
absolutely.
fact that you forgave and you moved past that was probably very influential in who he became as an adult.
Yeah, there's no doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he never had to choose. He never had to feel like there was a good and a bad side.
Right.
So.
Well, I know you have more than just your son. Tell us a little bit about your family and the dynamic of your family.
Absolutely. So, of course, there's Dustin, who's 26, and then we have Miss Hannah, who's 18, a senior in high school. So, busy season for sure. You know that. There's no end to all that stuff. So,
Yes. And
yeah.
your husband, Rick, you and Rick have been married how long?
20 years this year.
Oh, congratulations. We're all about that married life. Yes.
Yes.
Being married, I know that, of course, with you having Dustin prior to Rick coming into your life, the beauty of your words really creating your world, of how you moved into that new relationship, and it was seamless, which I've seen the dynamic of your family. What would you say was the most important transition for Rick and you together in saying how you were going to speak life into Dustin? What would you say was the most important thing there?
So that was just it. We became a family. I'm the mother, he became the father. Like there has never been, and I know there's a lot of different people that speak different things, and they refer to step parents and stepchildren and bonus kids and all that, and I'm fine, whatever you want to call it.
I agree with that. Whatever
we just
they
call
want
it
to call
mom and dad in our house. And we have a son and a daughter, and so I mean and Rick and Dustin are absolutely two peas in a pod and as close as any father and son could be.
They're absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And then I would also want to know, you're a businesswoman. I can definitely tell you, I do know that. You're a businesswoman. How is it in juggling really all of being mom, being wife, being mom, handling a business, and then also now with your book release and being on a book tour? How do you handle everything and do it efficiently?
You just do it. And you know that just as well. The reality is that, you know, there's this thing called balance. That's really a myth. It doesn't exist.
No, I agree with that.
And so there's seasons of life, and, you know, we've always had our priorities in line, and so our kids have never suffered through our business or building it or anything else we do. It's just, you know, you just learn to embrace it and go with it, and it works.
That's
right?
awesome. It does.
I mean, my kids might not have a home-cooked meal by me every night, but Dad's a great cook.
Well, and they're eating.
Yeah.
So
they're going to eat, and they're going to eat healthy.
That's one of the things that for parents, working parents, not to feel guilty if they're not the one cooking the meal. The kids are being fed. They're fine.
Yeah. I can assure you, if I'm cooking, 99% of the time it's in a crock pot, right? Like I'm just thinking about it that morning, and dinner's ready, because there's a lot that goes on in our life in the evenings as well, and always has been. You know, whether that was raising our kids at baseball or volleyball or church on the weeknights, I mean, whatever we were doing, you can still find ways to do life,
right,
and have that priority.
I know there was a story that you shared in reference to Hannah. Hannah speaking life, really her words creating her world. And she told you something one day in reference to Mom, or was it Dustin? That Mom, you have to get up. You have to get up and do this. You can't stay where you are. Which child was that? And how did they speak that life into you to know that you needed to get up?
It was Hannah. Hannah's always been really good at that. So, yeah, it was just a matter of, you know, the next business level, and she wrote me a note. I was actually on a call. She wrote a little handwritten note. It's still up in my office wall today. And the question was, you know, did you do it? And I said, no, and it was, why not? And in her just unique way, she said, it's just changing a few more people's lives. Like, you know, so take the focus off of you or what you're doing, and just, Mom, it's just a few more people's lives, and you know how to change them. So, yeah.
And how old was she at that time?
At that time, she's 18 now. She's probably about 12.
Wow.
Yeah.
The power of, because it's legacy, it's really what you're teaching her in the home, and she mimicked exactly what she's being taught. Yeah. And I think that's beautiful. So if you're hearing this and you have children, definitely what you say really does matter, and that your children are listening. In this instance, her child had been listening to her and turned it around and encouraged her mother in a moment that she needed to be encouraged. There's much more. We'll be right back.
For couch time with Sonja. I'm ready. I'm ready for this. Are you ready for couch time with Sonja? I'm ready. I'm ready for this. Are you ready for couch time with Sonja? Sometimes you need to hear something that will help you grow.
Let's be honest. Making a lukewarm marketing video is fairly simple. But who wants lukewarm marketing? Instead, how about something that conveys your unique message? Well, that takes creativity, and creative is what we are. We design custom logos. We even offer professional print services. Our goal is to showcase how good your idea is, no matter what your product is. Whether it's social media marketing for a new author or the artwork for the book itself, we can help. You've created a new app and need a TV commercial to show it to the world. We can help.
Now there's Stork Advisor.
If you're a photographer trying to show off your work in a unique way, we can help. Need a promo for your TV show? We can help with that too.
It's Couch Time with Sonja.
We're an artistic bunch, and we love the creative process. We're not trying to be the best in Houston. We're trying to be the best for you.
CEO Jalea Davis is making history by becoming the youngest African-American female to own a television station in the nation. Along with her colleague, President Crystal Holmes, these women are becoming a part of the 1.3% African-American television station ownership. Get ready for iconic television, an all-new channel coming to your TV on KVVV Channel 15.10, covering Houston's local inspiration, entertainment, health, wellness, fitness, family, visual artists, comedians, and more. Streaming 24/7 on iconictelevision.com. Be sure to stay tuned for the latest and greatest on Iconic Television, where everyone can be iconic.
Welcome back to another episode of Couch Time with Sonja. Before the break, we began talking to our guest today, Kerri Roberson. She was talking all about the importance of the words we speak in our life. We'd love to continue this conversation, but if you missed it, make sure you go back and catch the other segment.
All right, now, I know the story about Hannah, but Miss Kerri Roberson, there's a story about Dustin that I want you to share with our audience about
Absolutely.
the power of words from a child.
Yes, absolutely. So let's go way back in time, 20 years ago.
So he was 6?
He was 6, and I was beating myself up at this particular moment. And I remember coming home from an event and just, you're working hard, you're exhausted, and you're helping people, and they didn't even bother to show up. And so in my moment of why, I sat on my kitchen floor and I began to cry. And I said, I quit. I'm done. And I'll never forget, about 10 minutes had gone by and I felt a little tap on my shoulder. And it was my son, and he said, Mommy, are you okay? And I said, I am. And I was, trying to get my composure, and he said, okay, because I've been watching the clock and you're not supposed to quit for more than 10 minutes at a time. Wow. See, because he had heard in life, the first time you quit, it's easy. The second time it becomes a little bit harder, but the third time it defines who you are. Mm-hmm. And so what I was putting into my kid, he was pouring back out to me at that moment. And what I realized in that very moment was he was my purpose. And he heard me say that on a regular basis. So in my moment, I thought, who am I quitting on, right? I'm not quitting on people. I'm not quitting on a business. I'm really saying I quit on you. Yeah. And so I took those cute little blue eyes and I wrapped him up tight and I said, I promise you, you will never, ever hear me say the words I quit as long as you live about anything. And he hasn't.
And he was just 6 years old.
He was 6 years old.
I said, if that doesn't show the power of your words inside your home with your children, that they'll regurgitate it right back to you at the opportune time.
And I think from a young age, we teach our kids that it's easy to quit. Society teaches us it's okay to quit.
Yes.
In this day and age, you can have a starter marriage, you can have a starter home, you can foreclose, you can go to bankruptcy, you can do all those things.
Right.
And it's okay. And it's easier to quit than it is to persevere and fight through. And so, I think that when we instill that into our children at a young age, we teach them how to fight and how to stay committed and how to stay true to what they really want.
That's so good, Kerri. You hear the saying about the law of attraction, that you can attract those things that you desire to you by the words that you speak. Well, I know that you being an entrepreneur, there's many that are watching that are entrepreneurs as well, that are wondering, I'm trying to start this business. I have a dream in mind and I'm going after my dream, but yet they get to the point where they just want to quit. And law of attraction, I want you to talk to the entrepreneur and kind of tell us, what have you had to walk through being an entrepreneur and believing in the law of attraction that your words will draw to you what you desire?
Absolutely. I think it's huge. And I think the more that we speak who we're looking for, what we're wanting to accomplish, I'm a huge, love dream boards. I love them. We do them all the time. And I tell people, it's not just about taking those pictures and images and putting them in front of you, but it's about now taking the action step. What are you going to do? So everybody out there that's wanting to start a business or as an entrepreneur or, just wants more out of life, And there's constantly that pull of what do I want? And I tell people it's okay to want things. You can have all the things in the world as long as all those things never have you. Right? So it's okay to have them. But once you put them all out there and you've got them in front of you and you look at them daily, or you read off whatever you're speaking into this world, you'll start to see that things just start showing up. But it's also action behind it. So it's not enough to just say, okay, well, here's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to look at it every day, and it's magically going to appear. Right? It's called
If it
work.
would only be that easy,
Yeah.
right?
There's work behind it. But as you begin to work, you're going to see those things come to pass. And I mean, I could just share the example of the day I met you, right? Like, I literally had a call with a mentor, and the words exactly were this: are you going to walk out of your front door because there's somebody waiting on you today? And I was like, okay, let me really speak this one in, right? Because I was in one of those moments where it was like, you got to rise up. And so
That's reality, right?
That's reality.
We all get in those moments.
yeah,
That's reality.
you're going to have those moments.
Yes.
Nobody's going to escape the moments
exactly
of life.
right.
But it's what you do in those moments. And so literally I walked out my front door speaking that I was going to meet a world changer that day. And that was the day I met Sonja many, many years ago.
Many years ago.
And she is indeed a world changer.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Sweet, just as well as you. And I'll definitely tell you the power of meeting someone. You know, it's not by chance that when you meet someone who's willing to pour into you, value it. Because you definitely started pouring into me and my life with words. I mean, she started pouring words of affirmation and words into my life. Another example of the power of your words.
Yeah.
But as an entrepreneur, I would also say, of course, because we are entrepreneurs as well, being in that entrepreneurial world with the law of attraction, you can also attract negative things to you by what you say.
Absolutely. All day long.
I love how she smiles and she says, yep.
Because it's amazing when you say the word, I can't. You know,
You can't.
You can't.
That's right.
You know,
You just stopped everything
Come on.
that was en route to you
Yes.
by those simple words.
That's powerful.
Impossible, just change it. The very word itself says, I'm possible.
Yes.
Everything's possible.
Yes.
But yeah,
That's good, Kerri.
So I like that. Can you repeat that to the audience?
yeah. Instead of saying impossible, change it to I'm possible. Because there's nothing that you can't do. Absolutely.
So good. And then what was one of the defining moments in your entrepreneurial career that you realized, I really am changing people's lives with my words? When you had that aha moment, really, how did that make you feel, knowing that I'm really changing people's lives by the words that I speak?
Right. Well, there's been several of them. But as you start to realize that the world wants to beat you down, and most people go to a job or they're in a profession, whatever it is, where it's negativity, and that's all they hear is that they can't, they're not good enough, they're not worthy, right? They don't have any value in themselves because of what they're allowing to come in. And so whenever you can start speaking life into people and just really pulling out the best, because I tell everybody there is an absolute champion inside of you, you just haven't let them emerge. Right? You've kept them trapped. And when you start to allow them to grow and to come out, it's amazing what happens. And a person can completely change their life and their circumstances when they start to see things more positively and surround themselves with that type of culture. Because it's tough.
Now, what you're saying is speaking life to me. I hope that someone in the audience is getting this. If this is for you, make note. The things that Kerri is sharing, they're amazing for me, and I know she is reaching someone out there.
Yes. I'll definitely tell you, the day that we met and then realizing, fast forwarding, I was in that box of thinking corporate America was the only thing that I could do. That's where I was. I was in that place that corporate America was all that I could do. Yes, I loved nursing. Yes, I loved being in management, but I knew that there was more. I knew I was called to more. And the power of your words speaking life into me that yes, you can. And then coming alongside was just powerful. That there's many people out there today that are listening that are going, I have a dream and I want to do particular things. I just don't know how to do those things. Right. I don't know what to do. I don't know who to be around. What would you say to them? Because I know how you've changed my life. Because of course, Couch Time with Sonja wouldn't be if it wasn't for you even speaking life into me. Wow, 16 years ago? Yeah. The power of your words. So I would say, What would you tell someone today that is looking for, I have a dream and I have something I really want to go and do? What would you tell them?
I would say do it. Like the Nike logo, right? Just do it. But I would also say guard your dream, because your dream is your dream. And there is no doubt people are going to try to steal your dream. Whoops, I wasn't supposed to hit that.
That's all right.
I think about that because a lot of times, you go out and you share your passion and your desire and what's inside your heart with somebody, and it's somebody that you think should support you and love you and encourage you and lift you up, and they tell you that's foolish and don't do it. And so, but here's the thing is that's the dream God put inside of you, not someone else. And so you've got to protect it, guard it, and absolutely own it, because the reality is that whenever you actually step into it, you impact thousands of lives that only you were sent here to impact. And so, and I don't care what it is, right? Like there's 1,000 different things we could think of right now that people have a stirring inside of them, and they know they're supposed to do something. First step is do it. And there's so many resources online, because I think, I was told the negative, like, oh, you'll never be successful there by the people that I thought should be excited for me, right? Because remember, you don't have a college degree, and you're this, and you're that, and you're that.
Labels, right?
Labels. Lots of labels. And I chose to take a whole new set of labels and create a whole new set of words and go out and do it.
So your words were there, but you also put in the work.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Action was behind it.
Yeah.
Well, I am in awe. I don't know if you are, because these words are speaking life to Delia and I both. But I'll definitely tell you, if you have something inside and you have a stirring and it's burning inside of you, then that means that you need to put it to action. You need to connect with someone that will help you. And if you don't have someone, guess what? CouchTimeWithSonja.com, and that's Sonja with a J. Send us a message. We'll help you. We'll help you find out what your purpose is. We'll be right back.
Connect with fellow millennials, creatives, professionals, and entrepreneurs within the all-new millennial community. Join in and get connected with local events, volunteer opportunities, and mentorship programs with the next generation. For more information, visit themillennialcommunity.com and become a member today. Membership includes access to special events, networking events, and civic engagement opportunities. Check out our online calendar for upcoming event opportunities, such as Millennial Think Tanks, community building events, the new Sea Live experience, and much more. Members will also be invited to join an online membership group, have opportunities to pair with local students in the Houston community for mentorship programs. Follow us on all social media platforms and get connected with the millennial community today.
You ready for Couch Time with Sonja?
We're continuing today's episodes on Do Your Words Really Matter? Kerri has shared some wonderful information in the other segments, so be sure you go back and catch them if you missed any part of it.
Her book, Your Words Create Your World. What an amazing book. But there is a particular question, I guess I'd say a question, that she asked, and I'm going to read it. Are you truly living the life you desire? Do you simply exist in the world you have created with your words? Powerful questions. Powerful. Are you just existing? And man, I will definitely tell you, reading this book, you're going to find out if you're that person that's just existing. But it's going to encourage you to change from being that type of person. Well, Kerri, inside your book, which this is an amazing book, by the way.
Thank you.
Inside this book, you have a chapter on mentors, and you have a chapter on personal growth. Mentors we hear all the time. Personal growth we hear all the time. Does it really matter? Do you really need a mentor, and should you really focus on personal growth?
Yes, because here's the reality. With a mentor, it is extremely important to have them. And you're going to have different variations of mentors. I have found that out in my lifetime. Some, they won't even know that they're mentoring you, right? But you still need that one that is willing to look you in the eye and ask the tough questions, to see the blind spots, to really help you. Because the truth is that we talk about, well, I've got this person that I'm accountable to. Well, if it's a spouse or a best friend, Well, they're most likely going to be your cheerleader or your coach, right? And so I've often heard it said that no worries, the guy at Chick-fil-A, he'll accept you as you are. So, and he'll be happy to serve you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, very much so.
You want people in your life that can really help you go to the next level. And so, it's not just, you don't need 1,000 mentors. You need
good.
to really hone in. And it's your job to seek them out, really to find them and to pursue them, and then to absolutely let them add value to your life. And so most often it's going to be that you listen versus
That's
talking,
good.
right?
That's good.
And allowing a mentor to really pour into you.
I like that you said you let them.
Yes.
It's not just a matter of inviting them and saying, yeah, but you don't really want to hear them. You're saying
That's so
allow them to speak that
Allow
into
them.
you. Let them do that for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I think we hear the term accountability a lot too. And the truth is that I can hold a baby, I can hold a bag of groceries, but I can't hold you accountable if you
good.
haven't decided inside you, to your core, that you're going to do this no matter what. And that you're going to overcome those obstacles and that you're going to move forward. And so, it's really important whenever you have a real mentor that you have laid out, this is my plan, this is what I'm doing, and you allow them to speak into the blind spots and to really help. I mean, it's going to be huge. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely say yes to that. Also, personal growth. What would you say, and how do you steer someone into personal growth? We hear it all the time, and people always ask, what is personal growth? And where should I start? What would you tell them? Is it really with books? Is it with listening to particular CDs? What is it?
It's everything. It's whatever you fit in. So every morning while I'm in the shower, while I'm getting ready, it's a podcast. It's something in that format. I'm a huge reader, so I love to read early in the mornings. I pick up a book throughout the day. And so the key thing is that it's something that's going to really help you. And I always say books open doors, right? I can look at so many relationships in our life and know that it was because I was willing to dive into a book to learn about a culture, to learn about a community, to learn about just who these people are that open doors. And so I actually talk about that a lot in my book, that our relationship with the Navy SEALs and how we actually got into that organization was because I was willing to dive in and learn. And so when I sit down for a one-on-one appointment, I was able to have a conversation about what mattered to them.
Right.
And then how I could serve them, how I could help. And so there's a lot of different areas that personal growth is going to serve you. But I often go back to, when did we stop telling, we tell our children who you hang around with, what you listen to, what you watch, all those things matter. What age does that stop? Because I'm going to tell you right now, what's going in is what's coming out, whether you're 5 or whether you're 55 or 105.
That's so true. So
And
true.
so that's where you're going to just constantly have to continue to feed yourself the good stuff.
Which means personal growth never ends.
Never ends.
It's not a destination.
Here's what ended for me 20 years ago. Television. Things that didn't matter. Listening to music that maybe I'd grown up listening to. Changing what was going in order to set my sights on what I could become and who I could become.
See, that's good right there. Because if you have a goal in mind and you're an entrepreneur and you have a dream, that's time wasters.
Yeah.
Getting rid of the time wasters to go after what you really want to do.
Yeah.
That's powerful in itself.
As much as I love to read, and that's one of my passions, I don't often find time to do it. But I do love to pop in a book while I'm sitting in this Houston traffic and listen to the next book that I've been waiting for, or that's going to help me learn something, or just is going to pour into me exactly what I need at that time.
Absolutely.
So you kind of find what works.
Right.
If I'm going to sit in traffic for an hour and a half, I might as well make good use of it, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then as far as now, you're moving into generational personal growth, generational mentorship. In your generations, that you have children, and you're even a grandmother. Is that right?
Yes.
Look, all of us Mimis, Gigi's,
Gigi.
like Gigi's.
I'm Mima.
Mima,
Mima.
Gigi, Mimi. But it's so special, right? So when you look at those precious, your children, your grandchildren to come, you're looking at all your decisions you're making now really do matter for them later. So what would you say, what would be a nugget that you would say in reference to generational blessings as far as personal growth and mentorships go?
I think it's huge. I mean, I really do. And I was reminded, so this 2 years ago, we took a trip to Scotland. My grandmother was born in 1899, and her entire life she wanted to go back to Scotland and never got to go. And the sad reality is she lived until she was 94 years old. And so, but everything, we knew everything about it. And so standing in Scotland, my mother, myself, my daughter, and my brother, what I realized is that all these years later, we were fulfilling her legacy to be there. And that really, that makes the forward thinking really kick in, because I'd already thought generationally, like, it's one thing to leave your children an inheritance and money, and that's great. And I want to help everybody leave their family a great inheritance.
Right.
But at the same time, it's way more than that. It's the values. It's knowing, I think back, I want 3 or 4 generations to know the work I did on earth.
Yes.
Why it mattered, why I continued to invest my life into other people, and so that they could have a life that was extraordinary, right? And so I think everything we do matters, and it matters not just for us, but for our children, for our grandchildren, and for, like I said, generations to come.
Wow. So awesome. Great nuggets. Well, I definitely want to tell you, you definitely want to get Kerri's book. It is amazing, but there's so many nuggets in this book that will bless your life. And today you have definitely blessed us. We thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and sharing your story, because your story really does matter. And I'm hoping and praying that if you've listened, you've heard, there's something that's stirring inside of you, that you'll act on it. You heard Kerri say, you can talk about it all day long, but if there's no action to it, it won't go anywhere. And so we're going to end this show with a nugget, because the author of Your Words Create Your World, we want her to leave you with words that will help to create your world. So would you leave our audience with words of encouragement and whatever's on your heart?
Absolutely. Well, I just want you to realize that you are capable of anything and everything, the desires and the dreams in your heart. And so, just go forth, make a way, find a way, take what you've learned today. I love the fact there's so many resources in the book and, on our website. And so, just believe in yourself. And know that you've got to surround yourself with people who will believe in you until sometimes maybe you can believe in yourself. But you're worth it, and you can do great things.
Well, we are getting ready to wrap up this show, but we will see you on the next episode of Couch Time with Sonja.
And remember, always find a way to reach out to better yourself. KerriRoberson.com. That is Kerri, Kerri, Roberson, Roberson.com. You can find out all the information about what she does, what she's doing, and you can also purchase her book and some special items she has there as well. We love you, and we hope and pray that you have a wonderful week. See you next time.
Ready for this? Are you ready for Couch Time with Sonja? I'm ready. I'm ready for this. Are you ready for Couch Time with Sonja? Sometimes you need to hear something that will help you grow, or maybe need a break, refreshing for your mind and soul. Well, take a seat, 'cause we got what you need and more. I'm ready. I'm ready for this. Are you ready for Couch Time with Sonja?
It's Couch Time with Sonja. Let's go.